Good evening. Good evening. Where have I been? I know it has been weeks, right? Probably. I can't even tell you. It's been at least 2 weeks, right? Um, I've been busy. Life has been lifing over here. Um, the main thing's been keeping me busy is work. Uh, it's been insane. My work has been crazy lately. Crazy. Like, I regret telling my bosses um a couple years ago. I was like, I don't want to just work tickets. I want to do projects and do things. Now I have so many projects. It's insane. I was telling one of my coworkers a few weeks ago, like back before the new year, because we were chatting as we were working on something. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been so stressed. Cause she's on another team and their team like works closely with our team. And but like different functions. And so my team has been like our work pretty much is congruent. So if we have a lot of work, they definitely have a lot of work too. And I was like, and then we both have lost, both of our teams have like lost people in the last few weeks. So I was like, we've been so busy. I was like, I've been so stressed. I've been dreaming about work. And she's like, I dream about work too. So I was like, at least I'm not crazy. And so it's been bad. There was one day, was it last week or the week, either last week or the week before, that I did not sleep. Literally. I had a project I was working on that it was it had a due date of the 18th. And I still had a bunch of work to do on it. So I was like, well, I know I'll be up late doing this. Okay, not a big deal. But I was pretty much ready to deploy it and just do the troubleshooting. And then my boss, I was on my way home from bringing my son from school. My boss texted me and he was like, or he texted me and he was like, hey, we've got this issue. We need someone a little more senior on to supervise, not supervise, but to, I guess, run it, the remediation for it. And for when I was like, since when am I somebody senior? This is news to me. But he had texted myself and another coworker of mine who's also here on the East Coast or here in Atlanta area. And he was like, which one of you guys wants to take it? And I was kind of like, I'll do it, even though I knew I had this other project. But then at least I had an excuse to be like on instead of like being on all late. And people are like, what are you doing? I'm just doing some work. Don't worry about it. So I said I'd take it. And like the remediation started at midnight. It was like 6:30 when my boss texted us. So I guess his thought was like, okay, you can go to bed and like you can rest a couple hours and then come back, get back on at midnight, and then hopefully you won't be on too long, etc. Little did he know, like I was still working on this project. So I came home, I was working on this project, and I actually got most of what I needed to be done, like done a little bit before we started. So that was good, like the worst of it. Before we started doing this other remediation for this issue that popped up. Got on that at midnight. We worked on that till 4 in the morning. And then it's only 2 hours before I got up. I had to get it, like that's the week my son is with me. So I have to get up with the alarm so I can get him fed and like in bed and ready for school and stuff. Like the weeks that he's not with me, I can like sleep until 2 minutes before I have to log on, but I was like, all right, I might as well just stay up because if I go to bed, I'm not gonna wake up. And I still had to do some other things with this project that I was working on. So I just stayed and I finished it like right at 6, like all the work I needed to do. Made my son breakfast, took him to school. I was like, all right, I'll just take him to school and then I'll come home and I'll just sleep for a couple hours and then I'll start working, even though I'm supposed to come on at 8, my boss knows that I was working, I was on this thing till 4, like, they'll be fine. And I think the expectation pretty much was that I would come in a little later. But no, we had a whole other outage like at 8, like right at 8 o'clock, which is when I come on. And I had a couple of like the guys that work overnight there in the UK, they were texting me trying to like, and I came home and just got right back on that troubleshooting. My boss, who was like on that call with us last night until probably 2. We were on till 4. He stayed on till 2, but he doesn't sleep at all. It's insane. Like every late night thing, he's on it. So, go ahead. he got back on, so we were working on that for the whole morning, and then I had to do something else. So I didn't sleep. So from that Wednesday night into Thursday, that Wednesday was up all day, stayed up all night, and then that Thursday, up all day. So I went to bed like 10 o'clock, whatever time that Thursday night. So what, almost 48 hours awake. It was a thing. And then the rest of the week did not go any better. So, and it's been like that. Bam. We've either had like, I have all of my projects to do, plus we've had issues like that. We call them outages. They're like losses of connectivity, or just something's not working away. So it's called an outage. So we've had just outage, project. So other than that, family is just a family, but you know, you gotta take care of them. And then one of my dogs has been sick. I have 2 dogs. I have a lab mix and a bulldog mix. My lab mix, who's a tripod, 3 weeks or so ago, he started yelping. He just like, he'd be up, he'd walk a few steps, or he'd turn his head, and he'd be, oh! It was just like, oh! It was a little scream. And it got to the point where it's like every couple steps. And then it got to the point where he didn't even want to like poop, because like that squatting motion hurts him. And so I took him to the vet, and they were like, well, it's probably a pinched nerve. They gave him some pain medicine, and we're supposed to do that for like 5 days. We did that, and you know, he was definitely more comfortable. They said just keep him settled, don't let him run around. And so I had to kind of keep my other dog occupied with other things. But after those 5 or 6 days of that pain medicine, he seemed okay, like still not 100%, but you know, I figured pinched nerve, it takes a while. But like within a couple of days of coming off that medicine, he was yelping again. He was just really uncomfortable. He didn't want to lay down or sit down, because that hurt him, like when the actual motion of doing it. So he would just stand there crying for like hours, like whining until I'm like, fine, you have to lay down. And I made him lay down. As he went down, he'd be like, you know, sorry, that's I don't know, that's the noise. I can't do it. It was more like a scream, poor little guy. So I finally, you know, I was like, this is not getting any better. So I took him back to the vet on Monday. And well, I tried to take him back one day last week, but they had like it was the emergency vet by me. They said they were like, oh, we have like 3 emergency surgeries, and they're just doing a transfer that that might need a surgery too. So it's gonna be hours and hours. So I was like, okay, well, I'll take him home. We'll just give it a little more time. But by Monday, like, I was like, something is wrong with him, like very wrong with him. Took him back to the vet. They did some stuff. They did some blood work. Turns out he has 0 platelets, which is like what coagulates our blood. So, and they were like, well, it could be autoimmune, or it could be cancer, or it could be tick-borne. They kind of did all these screenings and ultrasounds or x-rays. I can't remember which. All this stuff, and they were like leaning most highly towards it being autoimmune. And then also his eyes were turned totally red. Besides the pain, his eyes turned totally red. And they were like, yeah, that's his blood vessels, because he doesn't have his blood vessels are popped and they're bleeding into his eyes. That's what that is. But they were like, we don't see any other bruising or bleeding anywhere. Like, it would be like you would see big bruises on him, because like, you know, the blood would just pool under things or whatever. And then I remember when I took him to the vet the first time. This is going long, sorry. When I took him to the vet the first time, they gave him a shot of medicine, and they gave me pills and stuff to take home. But the spot where they shot him, like, it was bleeding for like a long time. At first, like when we were leaving, I was like, I saw some blood still going, and they were like, oh, that happens. They wiped it off, put him in the car. By the time we got home, like thankfully I have a seat cover, because my new car would have been ruined. Like, I had the seat cover, like, had all this blood on it. And like, even I made him go lay down, and then he was still like, finally it stopped, but it took a long time. So once they told me he didn't have any platelets, I was like, that all tracks. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they did this ultrasound, and they were like, well, everything looks good internally. There's no signs of bleeding, but his spleen looks doesn't look right. And then they were like, it could be that sometimes it's cancer, but it would also look like that from autoimmune issues. And we can't do a biopsy because he he won't, because he doesn't have any platelets, so his blood will not congeal. So he would just bleed. So they're like, we're just gonna treat it as autoimmune. They screened for ticks, like the most common ticks we have, and they all came up negative, and they sent it away to screen for some more uncommon stuff. But they're like, we're just gonna treat it as autoimmune. Sent us home with like 4 different medicines. So I started them that night. That's Monday night, and then he was just like, poor guy, he's just like so uncomfortable. He wasn't able to walk either on our laminate floor, but he could walk on a tile and the carpet fine. Like when he got on the laminate floor, if you ever see cartoons where like someone's walking on ice and their feet are just like that's how he was trying to walk on the laminate floor. I don't know what it was about it. He couldn't do it. So I had moved his bed, because his bed is in our dining room, which is on the laminate. So I had moved his bed to actually right next to where I am in our foyer, which is on tile. And so he's been sleeping there. So we came home, made him lay down. A couple hours later, I gave him the first doses of medicine. By the next morning, he was like already so much better. Like his eyes already started clearing up, like he was moving better. He finally yesterday pooped because he wasn't in so much pain, and today he's even more better. So most likely their hunch about it being like a autoimmune thing is correct, because they gave us like some immune blockers so that his body, the idea is that his body is destroying his platelets, his own immune system. So anyway, that's been a whole ordeal. I've been like having to take him. I took him back to the vet today, and they're very happy with his progress, but it's just like doing all that. It's been like 3 or 4 vet visits already, and so much money. My husband's like, because he likes animals just fine, but he's definitely not like an animal lover where it's like pets are family, we'll do anything for them. He's like, the amount of money I spent on this dog, he never 100% never would. And he was like so afraid it was going to be like cancer or something. That's just going to be like, if it's cancer, even for me, it's cost prohibitive for me to like have him treated. So if it turned out to be cancer, like we would have to make some tough calls. But he was like, I hope you didn't just spend all that money and it turned out to be cancer. And I was like, I hope so too, but I don't think it is. But yeah, so that's just like, well, all that's been going on. So that's all of that 12 minutes to explain to you why you haven't seen me in 2 weeks. Lots of stuff going on. Pulling all-nighters at work, sick dog, almost teenage kid. My brother came and visited. He was here just for one night. He just popped in. I don't know what he was actually in town for, but he stayed the night with me last night. All this kind of stuff. So anyway, that's what's going on. And for all that, I have very little new stuff to show you. I have very little finished stuff to show you. How about that? That's the way to put it. The only 2 things I've finished in all that time are 2 hats. And I like both of these hats. This hat, so these are both like my Bod Hatapalooza hats, and I'm behind on that too. So this is the hats from like 3 weeks and 2 weeks ago. I didn't do last week's hat, and of course I haven't started this week's hat. But this one, I don't remember what this name of this one is called, but I like it. I think it's somewhere, is it a recent one? I can't even remember. But it's like a bottom-up beanie. You do the brim, with a single crochets in the, is it single or half double? I want to say single. Single crochets in the front loop, and to make the brim all around, you do that for 60 rows, and then you pick up the stitches around on the top to build up. So, and then this is just also front loops, right? Or back loops. It's loops, right? I really like this one. I claim this one for myself because I really like it. It came out really good, and I went and it covers my ears. That's just like always, look how far, you can't even see my little lobes. It's a great one. I like the colors. Even though it's brown, it's a little more masculine coded, but for one, like browns look good on me. You would think they'd wash me out, but browns tend to look good on me. So this is my new favorite hat, or it's my hat for this week at least. So there's that one finished, and then this other one, I really like it. Unfortunately, it's a tad bit small for me. But it's the one from last week. I don't remember what it's called. It's like the sun hat one. Isn't this pretty? Oh, it's so cute. So this is I don't remember the name, but I'll find both of the tutorials and I'll put them in the description box, right? So this one came out just a little bit small for me. I feel like, actually it's not that bad today. But you see, if I get it all the way on my head, I feel like it's a little misshapen. You see how it's like not so defined, but I do like it. I like the colors. This is just whatever, I think both of these are peaches and cream. Whatever cotton yarn. I got a whole bag of cotton yarn like down here at my feet right now. That's what I'd use to make dishcloths. I just pick one out at random. And so you have to hold two together. I didn't have two of anything that matched, but I had like two browns that are comparable. You can kind of see where it's kind of tonal there. That's because it's two different shades of brown. And then obviously the blues are two different shades. But that's like the only thing I even had two of, you know. And you hold them together, which was really not fun. This was painful. It was so bad that, okay, so this isn't the hook I use, but it was, you know, another one in the set. And you see the little rubber ergonomic thing, like it kept like almost coming off. It was like I had to grip it so hard to like get through both of the loops and all that it would just kept sliding down the shaft, and I kept having to push it back up. Like that's how hard it was to do this. But I do like the result. My husband liked it too. I was hoping he'd like this one so I don't have to make him another one, but he's like, no, I don't like the colors. And I was like, well, so he was like, he wants maybe a tan one. I don't have any tan, so it'll have to wait till I go to the store. I wish I didn't, you know, if I thought of it, or if I'd have done this, you know, maybe a few weeks ago, then I probably could have gone down to Michael's, because they had all their cottons on clearance, and I bought a bunch of their clearance cotton. Where are they? These were $1, right? These were $1. And then I think the loops and thread ones, and then there were some, maybe I didn't get any. There were some like name brand ones that I think were a little bit more. Maybe I didn't get any though, but I got like this one. I just grabbed a bunch because I was like, all dishcloths and stuff. But I think it's cool. I like the way it turned out. I feel like I said, it feels a little like just misshapen when I have it all the way on my head. Like, is this supposed to be flat? Actually, I didn't like the way it looked in the mirror, but I actually don't mind the way it looks in the viewfinder here. So maybe, yeah, maybe I will keep it. I'm not sure. I don't know who I could give it to, but I think it's a cool little sun hat. All right, I like the way the colors came out, even though, yeah, I like the way the colors came out. So I'll have to make my husband one. He still really wants a sun hat. I like it. Maybe I'll keep it. I don't know. Anyway, if not, I don't know what I would do with it. I don't know who would want it, but I do feel like it's just a tad bit small for me. But it's just all this for, doesn't want to compact as it should. But anyway, those are the only two things I finished. Other than that, I've been working like when I can have a few minutes of downtime at work. I have my shawl project right here next to me, and that's the main thing I work on during the day. Sometimes I'll pull out something else. I'll show you guys in a minute. But it is coming along. Is this not beautiful? It's very pretty. And now like we're into the blues. I think last time I showed you guys this, which a couple weeks ago, it was like right about, I knew we were into the grays. Actually done a lot more than I realized, because I was probably like here. Get out of there, come on. Open up. Open up. Let me see if I can show this better on this side. Okay. I was probably at least like here, or maybe here. I think I was somewhere in this area. So I've done all this, which is not bad. But there is a lot more to go. Like, I'm gonna move these out of the way. So I got still a bunch left. So we still got to get through all the light blues, all of the royal, move this all in here, and into the black. So it's a week till my mom's birthday. I don't know if I'll finish it in time, so I might have to find a backup present. But I do really love the way it's coming out. It's very beautiful, very pretty, right? But knit is just so slow, and then just the level of insane busyness I've had for the last few weeks has just, you know, not been conducive. So there's that. The other project that I showed you guys, well, the other two I showed you guys recently. So I told you I was gonna do, I'm doing this. I love this project. I love this project so much. This Fillet blanket for my friends that live around the corner from me. My husband actually spilled coffee on this, and I keep finding spots. Like, I tried to rescue it as best as I can and get water on it immediately, because as soon as he spilled the coffee, then he just was like, oh, whoops. And then I was like just getting ready to get in the shower when he did it. So I was like, oh, he'll take care of it. And I came out. He claims he cleaned it up, but then I asked him, I was like, well, did you scrub it or what did you do? And he's like, oh, no, I didn't. And I'm like, so he's like, I'll do it. I don't know what he thought. And so then he went and like scrubbed it. And I was like, well, did it fall on the yarn? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, but then he's like, well, you got to wash it anyway. But I was like, yeah, but it's coffee. Like, you don't want to let it sit there. Like, it's going to be weeks before I'm done with this. And so I went and took it in the bathroom and kind of like out all the spots that I found. I ran under some water and just got it out. But I keep finding spots that I missed. Like, even just a second ago when I held it up, I saw a spot. But anyway, I don't think it's not, it really was only a few spots of coffee that got on here. The rest of it ended up on my floor, and I found spots that he didn't clean up from that very well either. But anyway, I think it's really pretty. I love it. I love the way it's turning out. Is this the right side? No. Showing you the wrong side the whole time. There we go. There we go. So the colors like just like blend so well into each other. It's just so, especially this part, it's just like seamless, you know, it's really great. And then here, it's not quite as smooth a transition just because, you know, it just depends. Like, now that the rows are bigger, it's just, they don't, so, but it's still nice. Like, they don't, you know, fall in as convenient a position, but it still comes out really nice. And it's just so pretty. I love doing this project. I'm definitely gonna do some more fillets. This is what I have left. It's already kind of a mess of the first skinny cake. So I'll probably, you know, still get me a couple more rows around. And then I'll switch. I'm thinking, it's hard to tell right now how many cakes I'll need. Right now, like I said, I pulled 3 of them out of my bin, but I have tons more. I have probably a dozen of just this color. So there's that. There's this that's coming along. It's just something I work on a lot. And then I showed you guys this, which is gonna be my dog bed. This project I had to stop working on as much just because it hurts my hands to knit with 2 of these big thick yarns together. So I'll do a bit at a time, but this is like not my go-to project. I did a lot of this, like, okay, started here. Oh, it's all, sorry, so much. Okay, so started here. Most of these wedges I did like within the first few days, or like at least that first weekend. And then these last bits, like, it's been hard to get through. But this is the last wedge for the base, the bottom of it. And then you sew it up. And so you see how it doesn't, you know, it's not meant to, I don't think, sit completely flat. It's supposed to kind of bunch up a bit, but it'll be like this big maybe, and I'll sew it up. And then I'll do the same thing for the top, and then there's a side piece that you do. But I'm not in a huge rush for this. This is just a fun thing. Just gonna clean out some yarn that I've been stashing for a while. Like, I bought the yarn specifically for that project. Also, so that whole bottom part I just showed you only used two ogos, and because you hold it together. So really it's only one Ogo. It's one pair of Ogos, I guess, like that you held together. The pattern says you need 9. I can't imagine how, because it's like 2 for the bottom, 2 for the top, and then I don't think that the side, let's just say 2 for the side. So that's 6. I plan to make 2 beds, so I bought 18 of those. There's no way I'm gonna use 18. So I think I mentioned this last time. Maybe I'll do a cat bed. Because it goes from like size like small cat bed all the way to like extra large, which is what I'm making, which I think is still gonna be too little small for my dogs. But I know my one dog, like my bulldog, he is so bougie about sleeping on the floor, like anything that's not the floor. Like we've caught him many times, like squeezing himself into our laundry basket, like of clean clothes or dirty clothes if he goes into the bathroom. But a lot of times if like I bring clean clothes up and just leave them and I don't fold them right away and he comes sleeps in our room, he will like curl into our laundry basket and sleep in there. And it's like he has to squeeze himself in or just anything. So he squeezed into like cardboard boxes sometimes. I don't know why he stopped doing that. It was so cute when he used to do it, but he'd like crawl into a cardboard box, like a delivery box, and just curl up in there. I have no idea. Maybe when he was like a puppy, that's what he lived in for a while or something. But anyway, working on those, that's just something to do, but I do want to at least get the first one done. And then this one, I worked on this week and I actually got quite a bit done on it. This is one you haven't seen in a while, and it's my scrap blanket. I might have to stand up. See how big it's gotten. Here, back up and stand up. So I really like it. So a lot of this here is recent, from probably, I don't know, maybe here or here is probably the last time I showed it. This is where I finished with like when I unraveled my temperature blanket that I started and never completed. So that's that part. So everything, I think that's the last time I showed you guys. So then everything from here up is what I've done since then. So I really like the scrappiness, especially of this most recent one. A lot of this is Karen Simply Soft. I had the scraps that I had from when I made that blanket there. So this one here, I found when I was cleaning up my stash a few weeks ago, I told you guys about. I found those scraps in a bag, so I've been adding those, plus just other little scraps from stuff I've been doing. I actually I'm almost done this. So this is like from that, and I have this little ball here, and yes, this little thing of purple. It's not gonna go very far, but I'll throw it on there. And then that will be all of my Simply Soft scraps that I'm pretty sure, until maybe I find some more. And then I have like, just from after that, it's just gonna be probably just whatever I have left over as I work on projects. But it's coming. I think I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. So I stand up, so there's the edge here. If I stand up, it goes down. It's not, if I put it flush to the floor, this is, let me back up. So it comes to here, so almost to my head. I like blankets that's gonna cover me head to toe, so I'm gonna go a little bit further before I start to decrease. So I was actually working on this yesterday, as I was at work, and then like even in the evening as I was talking to my brother, I was working on that. So I got a lot done on that. Okay, so that's what's been going on. I think I might. Sorry. What is that? I think it's my mom's TV. Okay. I'm gonna cut this video here. And then I'm gonna do one more because I have some projects that I told you, my baby blanket projects. I'm gonna talk about those, and I'm gonna show you some yarn, but I'm gonna break that into 2 videos. Anyway, I thank everybody. I didn't even do an intro. Welcome to Talk Yarny to me. My name is Zuri. I'll be talking yarny with you. Welcome to my many new subscribers. I think probably have gotten close to 50 since the beginning of the year. So this month, a little over 50 new subscribers. So you guys, welcome. This has been this was the most boring month you could have possibly subscribed to me, because I've barely been on. But I welcome you guys. I thank you all. I thank you guys. So I just today I got another sale on my mystery boxes. So there's only 2 left. Well, I gotta send that one out, but there will only be 2 left. No, I'm lying. How many did I have? Did I have 8 or 6? I don't remember. If I did 8, then oh, no, that can't be right. It had to be 6. So I think there's only 2 left. I don't know. You can go and look on my Etsy. But yeah, thank you guys that have been supporting that. Every day I get like 1 or 2, a few people favoriting it. So you guys have been really supportive with that. I will leave the link below. And if you want some, come get some. I probably, like I said the last time, will do another round of mystery boxes like in the next like coming weeks or months. Because there's other stuff I need to clear out. Like there's other stuff. But anyway, thank everybody for hanging out with me. I'm gonna be back in just a few seconds with another video in a minute. But I don't know when I'm going to actually release either of these, in what order or whatever. Probably do this one first. But okay, thank you guys. I love you guys. We'll talk to you later.